Good afternoon. Welcome to my workshop. I was thinking earlier, I need a name for this workshop. Brian's got In the Stable Studio. Terry's got Middle Earth. I just got a workshop. Today I'm covering for Terry, who was supposed to be covering for Brian, because Brian did Terry's on Monday. It gets confusing. But hey ho. Let's start by bringing in my earworms and saying hello to them all. We have the wonderful Ruby Claire from Canada. We have Brian from Northern Ireland.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody.
We have Joe from the frozen waste of Northern England.
Hi, everyone.
And Stephen the Wood Dude from London Way,
Buckinghamshire.
Buckinghamshire.
Oh, the posh country. Posh bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do today. When I was on holiday last week, this was a reflection in my sister's bedroom window. We went to visit them, of a sunset. My wife can paint, I can't. So the idea is I'm going to turn a vase, paint it white, and she's going to paint the picture onto it. And we'll send it to my sister to say thank you for the week. So that's the plan for today. And we're working with a piece of ash.
Can I make a suggestion, Pete?
Yeah.
If she's going to paint it, you might want to let her decide if she wants it all white or not.
She's already said she does.
Okay.
Obviously, I was intended to do something else with this piece of wood because I've cut a flat on it. I can't for the life of me remember why, but it's now repurposed. So I'll start turning that to round, and I'll leave you in the capable hands of my wonderful earworms, who will tell me who's in the chat.
Thanks, Pete. Go on then, Joe.
Do you know, I just knew my name was going to come up then. I just knew it. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. So, in the chat today, starting off with Chris Dodds. We've got Ruby, obviously, who's in here when. We've got Michael McEwen, Copperal Woodturning, Dara Coulon, Michelle Ousby. Oh, yeah, Michelle's in. What's up? We've got Greg Alexander, Terry Bartlett, Todd at Glen Cove Woodworks, Gab Today Woodwork, Michelle Higgins, Roger Kent. We've got the Gentleman Woodturner.
Oh, Mark.
Hello, Mark.
Welcome back, Mark.
Yeah, Mark is also just back from his holidays.
We've got YV Woodshed.
Andrew.
John Mooney. And that's as far as I can read at the moment, although I do know my chat didn't start at the top, so...
Well, we have 26 people watching currently.
Look at the beast of that tool.
Pete, would you mind if I made an announcement?
Carry on.
A lot of you would be familiar with the show that Theo Hara-Lampu puts on for Record Power.
Oh, yeah.
And he was off for a while because of medical issues, but he's restarting again next week.
Cool.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's the British show that's going to be shown first. So at a time that's convenient for you folks.
Right.
So watch for a posting on that coming up.
Actually, I should get an email about that because I usually do.
Okay, if you usually get it and you're signed up with Record Power to get them, then you'll be getting one next week.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
Because of that flat, I'm going quite slowly, but I'm just creeping the speed up when I can.
Did you say what wood this was, Pete?
This is ash.
It's ash. Aye, it's ash.
You were talking about painting it, Pete. Sometimes I found if you use a 2-part bleach, you can actually get a nice color that she would be able to paint directly onto.
Yeah, I've used bleach in the past, particularly on holly.
I found it works really well even on oak.
Oh,
I've never
When-
tried it on oak.
When we get a second, I can show you a shield that I made. And to get the white parts, all I did was bleach them with bleach. And,
Yeah.
and it worked extremely well.
cool.
So, Michael McEwen's asking me, am I travelling to the AAW Symposium with Glyn? Sadly not, Michael. It'll be Glyn on his own. I'm left looking after the parrots.
Parrots,
My
I think.
sins.
John has asked, he missed the start, so he wanted to know what you were making, Pete.
Okay,
And
it's going to be a fairly bog standard vase.
but it's going to be a collaboration with his wife who's going to paint it.
Yeah, I can put the picture back up. That window and the reflection of the sunset, my wife is going to paint onto this vase because I can't paint, but she can. And we were then going to send it to my sister, whose window that is, as a thank you for putting up with us for a week.
A whole week.
Tell you what, Pete, while you're there, if you want to highlight for a minute, I'll show you how well
Yeah.
oak takes a bleach. Okay, this is part of a shield,
Wow.
and you can see how the white part on top, and all I've done is bleach it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's
That's amazing.
very well.
That's quite
Yeah.
incredible, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I'm going to apply some bleach on a different, bleach on different woods now. Then.
Yeah, what I suggest you do is keep a piece of the wood to the side and try it out on it,
Yeah,
and then
definitely worth a try.
you'll know.
We've got David J. Heath, the Guildford Carpenter, into the chat.
Hey, David.
Michael saying, sorry to hear, Joe. Was hoping to meet you. You never know. Maybe the following year.
I might have to nip into the house and steal Michelle's bleach.
Not a bad idea.
Oh, forgot she was in the chat.
Might be a
Oh,
bottle of
that's round. So a quick look at the grain direction. So that's going to be my bottom because that's the way the pattern runs, which will show through the paint a little bit. This is Ashley's round skew in theory, but I've straightened the end off. And I find it a very useful tool.
And Michelle says it will cost you, Mr. O.
Everything costs.
You still with us, Stephen?
I don't know, I think Stephen's fell out, has he?
No.
Oh,
You haven't pressed the wrong button, have you?
I'm
He's
here.
back.
right.
I'm cutting circles.
You're cutting circles.
Hi.
For his...
Sticky circles. To go on a piece of wood like this. Which is going to be pierced.
Very nice.
But I think that for some reason I can't get the sticky paper apart.
Not sharp enough nails to
No, I
split
think
it.
I might have been sold a dud.
Won't surprise me in this
Unfortunately,
world.
the O'Donnell drawers aren't really suitable for this project, so I won't be
Donald
using them
Josh?
today.
What are Donald Josh? What's this
The
about a
other
Donald
drawers
Josh?
on my SK114, they're just not right
Oh.
for this job. I would normally use them when Brian's in, but you know.
Yeah. Yes, thanks.
Todd was asking how I prevent the bleach from bleeding over to the other part of the wood. And right along the line between the bleach part and the non-bleach part, what I did was I took my wood burner and just burned a very fine line down that edge. And I found that worked.
It.
Yeah, just scored it basically with the wood burner.
Pyrography tool.
Correct.
Yeah.
That is going to be my next treat for me. I'm getting a Bernie pyrography tool.
What are you going to get, Stephen?
Well, I was talking to Helen Bailey up at Makers, and I looked at, I've tried to do it with soldering irons and stuff, and
Yep.
you
It doesn't work.
No, you've got to get the top of the range stuff. So it's about 350 quid though. It's a lot of dollars.
The razor.
Yeah. But
Wow,
Yeah,
I'm
I've heard they're good. I used the Peter Child one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're that much because they're not that much over here.
I think,
No, I've got the Peter Childs. It's about £120. The one I've got.
Well, I'm going to have a look. I mean, that's what I think Helen told me she paid something. I mean, I don't know. I'll do some research.
I'm part of pyrography groups, and there's a lot of good work done with razor tips. But I do like my Peter Child. So.
Well, I've got the razor tips, and I find they work very well.
I will have to join your pyrography club group.
It's just on Facebook, Stephen. You can just
Um,
Pyrography UK. There's loads of them.
Oh, they're free.
They are free.
Mark H. and Doug Miller have joined us as well. Welcome, fellows.
Hi, guys.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hi, Dougie. Okay.
Here's a little tip I keep trying to get Brian to do.
What's this?
Get an SK114?
No, it's a parting off. I'm not even looking at it. It's a parting offline. You get told off every week for it. Every week.
When you put something in a chuck, if you're looking at it for proportions, your eye goes to the edge of the jewel. So give yourself a bit of room to part off. Put a line on it. Score it with a parting tool. Even a pencil line would do. So your eye is then looking at the piece you want to turn as opposed to the whole piece. Which gives you a better idea where you're going.
Why don't you do it, Brian?
It makes up because it's wasting timber. Look at all that timber he's wasted. I mean,
it does worry Brian quite a lot.
Lewis, the Klondike Craftsman, has joined us.
Hi,
Lewis.
I got to be honest, I don't do this. I just do it by eye normally. Yeah. But that's
You don't do it for my benefit. I know. Thanks, Pete.
John Mooney says my pyro kit's still in its box, much like my wood turning.
Now,
that's about the wide point I want.
Is this
Yeah.
the wide point going to be at the top or the bottom third of your vessel?
Bottom.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to take it down a bit below that. Reason being, the painting will be about there.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's about right.
Baz from Real Simple Things is in. Good afternoon, Baz.
Hi, Vase. No
Hi,
burning
Vase.
today, sorry.
Did we mention that Todd at Glen Cove was in?
Yes.
Okay.
We did.
Don't want to
Sweet.
forget anyone if we can help it.
Oh, absolutely not.
No, well, I try not to, but somehow I manage it every week.
You're good at that, Joe.
Well, that's because you're human, Joe.
Yeah. I get volunteered to do these things, and then they have a go at me for doing it.
No, did anybody have a go at you today? No, I don't think so.
Oh, let's move them for some reason.
Steamed earworms. There we go.
I like that. Oh, do this.
Pete, why is it wobbling?
Yeah, why
What's
is
that?
it wobbling? Why is it wobbling?
Because it's sat in the chuck a little bit different to what it was in spindles. Reason being, I moved my headstock yesterday. I didn't square it.
Oh.
Yeah, I've made that mistake a few times.
Yeah, it's easy done. It's easy done when you get to Pete's age, you know he's getting a bit old, like.
Yeah, I must be the
Normally,
youngest.
I set my headstock in the bed, so I haven't got a lot of space at the back end to walk past.
Right.
And normally, when I'm hollowing, I turn the headstock 180 degrees and stand by the doors and do it.
Yeah,
But
you're
that
the
doesn't-
same.
That doesn't
Yeah.
fit my cameras.
Yeah,
So-
you're same as me. I haven't got any room in here at all. I gave Brian a shop tour the other day,
He did.
and he still hasn't paid me.
Well, it was more like a garage to it, to be honest. I mean, it's
It is. It's my very elderly parents' garage, but they're kind enough to let me use a bit of space.
That's good.
Yeah.
Benjamin's in.
Hey, Ben.
Hi, Ben.
Good afternoon.
Trouble at Mill now, boys. The Germans in.
So Mark is saying, no point trying to get off Joe's list. She only finds a reason to put you back on it 30 seconds later. That's because you usually have a reason for me to put you back on it 30 seconds later.
She's not looking
Mark,
for the
you get
opportunity.
withdrawal symptoms the moment you come off of Joe's list, so you make sure you get back on it.
He's he doesn't so much get off it. He just leaves temporarily.
Exactly.
So I take it Mike's driving his bus today, right?
Yep.
Yeah, somebody's got to drive people around.
God help the customers, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay off the road, folks.
That's got a lovely grain structure to the wood.
I think the ash we get here is nicer than the ash you get over there.
It's got a very different coloring, that's for sure.
I think a lot of the ash, it depends. I get some really close grain ash that's grown. Basically, it didn't have a lot of sunlight, so it grew very slowly. And that's what I use for my, I don't know if you ever seen the pictures. I try to make it look like it'd been burnt in a fire, like, you know, a piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's just on my Facebook page somewhere. But the big ash, like what Pete's cutting now, I mean, that's fast growth because they grow real fast, those trees, and the grains spread apart. But when you get it when it's really tight, it actually looks really nice. You can do a lot of stuff with it, especially with stains and embellishing waxes, those kind of things. Because other than that,
Ben has asked who the new earworm is with the normal sounding accent. So he must
What?
mean
Ah,
so he must mean you, Stephen. This is Stephen the Wood Dude.
Hi, Ben. Yeah, we needed some normal people in here, you know.
Did
So
he say normal sounding accent?
yeah, I mean, some people who actually live in the UK and can speak English properly.
Yeah, there are some of them I can actually
Oh.
understand.
See, I've now made
That's almost fighting talk, you from Buckingham.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've made friends already. Look,
Malcolm Douglas is in the chat. Good afternoon, Malcolm.
Ow.
Just playing with the shape a little bit because trying to imagine what it's going to look like when it's finished with a picture on it. So I want a fairly straight line, although it's going to taper. I want something like that.
Did
Oh,
you
don't
want to
talk it.
make a couple of beads to kind of set off the area that's going to be painted, or leave it the way it is so that she can?
I'll leave it the way it is because she wants it fairly plain.
Okay.
Yeah, she wants a fairly straight surface to work on. They have a
Fair
mantelpiece.
enough.
This is going to fit on as well, so the size is kind of constrained. And I'm not doing the painting, so I do as I'm told on that.
Smart man.
Yeah,
Pete, you're not too worried about the ash having an open grain, so that when she paints
no,
on it, does she want to see through into the?
wants a flat white surface.
Okay,
So
could have gone down to B&Q and
um,
just got some Conti boards and stuck it together. Only kidding.
my
What-
sister's villa, being in Ibiza, is of course white. Everything is white in Ibiza. So that's what we're going for.
Maker 238 Delurch is in.
What you'll probably
Yeah.
want to do is make sure you
Good
really
afternoon.
seal the wood well before you paint it.
Yeah, get plenty of sealer onto it, and
All the way from Tennessee.
Yeah. Glenn's going to be in Tennessee next month.
he is.
Has he got room in his luggage for me?
Then he's going to
He
be
ain't
in
taking
Ireland.
me, so there'll be plenty of room.
Well, you'll have to tell him to do a detour by here to visit Rob Summerlin and myself.
How
'Cause
many
it's really-
thousand miles?
It's like the other side of the world, Canada to Tennessee.
Oh, it's only a day's drive.
Only.
I hadn't thought this one through really.
Yeah.
No, because I thought, oh, it's not going to matter that I haven't set it straight. But if I'm going to use a Forstner bit, of course it does matter.
Doesn't bet.
So if you'll just excuse me for a second, I will sort that out.
You go straighten it. Good thing is, X-Men to supply you with a tool for doing it.
They do.
Benjamin says that, Pete, your massive hands make the 406 banjo look really quite small. It's like the opposite of Terry and his 508. And Ben, you're absolutely right. Pete is a giant. I found that out when I visited him.
He's a big lad.
Well, my lathe is, I've lowered it because when I used Mark's lathe, I found it quite difficult to adapt to the height. But my lathe is still up on 2-inch blocks above 1 inch on the leg, so it's 3 inches above standard. And Ruby managed very well.
I got mine on razors, and I still need to raise it up a bit.
I have mine just set the way they come, and then when I have like when I'm using them, I have a platform that's about 4 inches high that I use. And when I have a tall person come for lessons or to work on it, I just take the platform away, and then it seems to be the right height for them.
All I use there is you get from Axminster this double-ended Morse taper. Stick it in there, bring the tailstock up, and it squares it.
That's a good idea.
Can you get those on eBay? I mean, like just a double M2.
I'm absolutely sure you can. Yes.
Because I need one of those. That's a good idea.
It's a good time saver.
The Yorkshire Gitty's in. Good afternoon, Glenn.
Did you show him my promo shot of my lovely piece of wood?
I did. He had a snigger. Yeah, he did. Yeah. I did. A lovely piece.
Good afternoon, Grim. We were just talking about you abandoning Joe to go off gallivanting around America.
Are you going on your motorbike, Glenn?
Don't mention the bike. Don't mention the bike.
Don't mention the bike.
Oh,
It's a poorly bike.
Have I set the cat amongst the pigeons?
The bike is sick. It's not well.
It's really not well.
It's currently in Silverstone after 14 weeks of being at a dealership.
I spoke to him about it at Makers. Yeah. It when you buy after service parts that are actually recommended and they don't work. I used to build lots of bikes and race them, but we used to blow them up because it was our fault. But if you actually buy something and it's supposed to fit onto something and it doesn't.
Yeah. It's a bit different there.
Yeah.
Pete, were you looking at putting a foot on the bottom of this?
No.
Okay.
We leave Brian to do the feet.
Ashik Kitey
Listen,
joined us. Good afternoon.
There's nothing wrong with my vases with feet on them. There's nothing wrong with them. Stop it.
You're
I must admit, I like
absolutely right, as long as you don't make them too big.
I like feet.
I like feet on people. They're quite useful.
Yes, I found mine to be very useful.
I've just had a quick look on Google for lathe alignment and MT2 tapers.
Yeah.
And the only place I can find one is a place called All Tech Tools.
Yeah, I'm looking online right now. I've got the Axminster one for like 19 quid.
That's about the price of it.
I don't want to pay 20 quid for one. It's just.
I don't think you will find one elsewhere.
Well, you can pay £2,000 and get one free with the lathe.
I'll do that. That sounds like a deal.
Now, Ben has said, Mark, you could take some pointers from Pete on how to keep a reasonably tidy workshop.
Yeah, Mark's seen my workshop. That ain't going to work.
And then Mark has responded, I could, Ben, but I'm not going to. But I could.
Who said Mark could learn from Pete?
Ben.
That's tidy workshop. Yeah, no.
Right, so this is a Forstner extension, Brian.
No, don't mention the Forstner extension. Please don't.
No comment. I haven't got a Forstner extension.
God.
You're not a real wood turner if you haven't got a Forstner extension.
Mine are a bit like Glenn's motorbike.
Not here, you mean?
Not here, right?
Oh, I'm getting the stare. I'm getting the stare.
Oh, did he give you the look, did he?
Yeah, I got the look.
I don't think it's fair to wind people up about broken motorcycles.
That's not, that
No,
wasn't
it
a bit-
isn't.
I didn't mention a broken motorcycle. I mentioned extensions.
An absence of one.
Pete, Lewis
Yeah?
is asking if the spindle leaning on the wall is pressure treated.
Which spindle?
I'm trying to see which one. There's several leaning against the wall. I've
I'm
got
just-
Well, the one in the camera shot is just to the right of the lathe.
It's the one that's turned.
Yes, it's turned.
I just like all the way.
Yes.
There's yeah.
Yes,
Pete,
that is pressure treated, that one.
I must say that your workshop has got no trip hazards.
Not at all.
It's fully compliant with health and safety. It's a showcase, basically. It's a showcase of what a workshop should look like.
Mark is saying it's your decking spindle, Pete.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is pressure treated. I didn't turn that. I bought it for 50p.
I was going to say that came from B&Q, that one.
Yeah.
There's a really nice spindle further to the right that you've managed to turn like little kind of branches on it. It looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but I believe that full bamboo that people turn, that's like a full log. Very good.
That is waiting to be chopped up into small pieces.
What is it, holly?
No, it's ash.
Is it? It's very grey.
Gentleman wood turner has gone on to say, Pete and I are both in busy working workshops. We don't earn money by sweeping. Right, Pete?
This is very true.
Who said that? Who said that?
Mark.
That was Mark that said that, was it?
Hey, I don't have a choice, It's either sweep up or find somewhere else to live.
Yeah. When it's somebody else's space.
Yeah.
I had to sweep up last night because it was a right mess in here.
Which bit did you sweep up, Pete? The bit in the corner that I can't see.
Yeah, the bit we can't see. Yeah.
Lewis is saying that your spindle looks like one that was made in Canada and then sold to B&Q.
That's
And
Probably is.
And apparently he built the cutter head that made that and managed the plant for years.
Yeah, I built a balcony. It's a 4 meter square balcony off of Lisa's, what used to be a bedroom, but it's now her study. And I put those spindles around it, and they all came from B&Q.
Do you mean to tell me that everything isn't handmade in Canada? That they actually have a machine?
The balcony has
Well,
been
the
rebuilt.
machines are handmade.
Well, that's a start.
Chris from Bailey Woodworks is in. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Welcome along, buddy.
Hello, Chris.
That's a good fortune bit.
Ben's got a top tip. It says, for anyone buying a Forstner extension, take out the Allen grub screws and replace them with torque screw screws. In fact, do that with any Allen grub screws.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
They're much better.
So,
Pete, quick question. Do you ever use the wave? Is that a wave?
It is a wave.
Yeah. They cut so much better than the teeth.
Yeah.
Yes, they do.
And you can use them
either way on any grain.
Either way, much better than you can a toothed or a flat one. So they're more versatile. In fact, that one's 45 mil. I bought that because my flat 45 had gone completely blunt. And been sharpened to the point where it needed replacing.
You get what you pay for, I mean, I picked up when I first started messing about with wood. I bought like a box set. You get like 20 pieces for like 20 quid, and you literally get like 50p worth of sharpening across the whole thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to use the Sorby Hollow Pro, which is now called the Steady Pro.
It's called the Steady Pro turning system.
It looks like a
mangle. Better name, but I've still got Hollow Pro written on here, so I can't remember it. But
it's a pretty heavy, robust piece of kit.
It is.
Pete, would you say that setup is more rigid, holding the tool than like the Simon Hope, or any other kind of articulated arm?
Yeah.
Because you're holding it
It's.
in two positions, right? So
Yep.
it's less
I don't
likely
think
to
it's more
jump up.
rigid. I think it fills a gap. Now, this is why I've moved my headstock. It's because I don't have enough room on the bed and the wall's in the way.
Okay.
But I've got everything out of line now. So
I
let's
have
just
to
adjust that.
I have to take my tailstock off, and it must weigh 20 kilos at least,
Yeah.
because I got no room. But I've made a shelf right next door, so I can just slide it off and just get it onto the shelf without giving myself a hernia.
Yeah, I've done something very similar. I've got a little drawer cabinet on the end of the lathe, which is exactly tool rest below the height of the bed.
Yeah, you can just
So I
drop
can
it
just
on
take it
there.
off, lower it onto there, and that gives me room. Now then, you can adjust this. Better camera shot for that. Hang on. If I turn it sideways, which is wrong, obviously, and I go to that camera, you've got these two screws. You've got two on either end. You adjust this by swiveling it. So you can use it on I want a small tool now. That'll do. So you can use it on a smaller tool.
You're effectively reducing the gap between the two rollers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a larger tool.
Yep.
This is the Simon Hope one. It just so happens that my other hollowing tool is the same diameter, so once I get it set, it's right for both of them. I'll show you that as well. I put a Jubilee clip there, which gives me the centre height. It just saves you messing about with it. Drop it in a position it's right.
Wood Turnings by Barry and Amy DeAngelis has joined us.
Hi, Amy.
Hi
Barry.
guys.
Good afternoon.
So has Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
So what you're looking for is when it's held, this handle is completely flat to the bed. So it's like that. I know you can't see that angle very well, but if you imagine that's just parallel to the bed, then you clamp it up and you're all set. Now in theory, if you only use one set of tools, you only do that once. But
It is adjustable for every size of tool.
it is adjustable for whatever tool you use. If you've got different tools with different sizes, it doesn't take a massive amount of time to change it.
Benjamin is asking, Pete, how come you're not using your Hamlet hook tool?
I'm going to shortly, but not the hook, the closed cup.
The ring tool.
Yeah, it is sort of a ring tool. Actually, I've messed that up now, haven't I? Sorry about that, guys. That's the cutter on the Hamlet. So you've got this cap on top of it. Your cutting is just here. And this goes to 4 foot long, so I can go quite deep with that.
Wow.
But we'll start with this one. I'm going to raise up a bit.
The strange thing about using the Steady Pro system is that you actually lift the handle of the tool up rather than try to hold it down.
Yeah, And
All right.
my tape is worn away, but I've got 2 lines here which show me the angle of this cup. So a dotted line, it's horizontal. On the straight line, it's 45 degrees, which gives me
That's a good idea.
a nicely controlled cup.
What wall thickness are you going to aim for?
I'm not going as thin as I did yesterday. I
Yeah.
went to 2 mil yesterday, but I was just playing. One thing you've got to remember with this is that front roll has got to be on the flat bar, which I just messed up just now, because there's a tapered end on this tool. So you've got to have space for that to be.
Yeah, if you're using the Robert Sorby hollowing system, it has a big knob on there as well that you have to get past there as well. So
Yeah,
it actually sits quite a fair way back from the end of the workpiece. It's designed to do that, so don't be afraid of it.
I think I'm going that thick, Ruby. Then I just work that out, which is quite thick, but we'll see. Okay, so that's a small one. Now we'll go with the bigger one.
Have you ever tried using an end mill to hollow with? They look
Yes,
like a big
but
drill.
only on a course.
I found they hollow very well. The first part of that I would probably just do with a spindle or bowl gouge.
Yeah, so would I normally. But I wanted to adjust the what's it called, Brian? Steady Pro.
Steady Pro, yeah. The link's in the chat if anybody wants to have a look at it.
Yeah, I wanted to adjust the Steady Pro, so I did it differently.
It's a relatively inexpensive hollowing system.
Ben says he loves his Sorby hollowing tools, but the knob on the end is such a silly design.
It is.
I
totally agree.
I think there's 3 sets of hollowing. As Ruby says, for shallow hollowing, you don't need more than a spindle gouge. That's all you need. For slightly deeper hollowing, then the Simon Hope carbide is excellent. Various other carbides are excellent, just handheld. If you're going very deep, then you need to look at spending some money on some fancy kit.
Or make a system.
Or make one. This fits nicely in between I would say the 4 to 8 inch mark. It's perfect. Go over 4, then you're sort of stretching ordinary tools. Go back to this one for a sec. If you go if you've got a very expensive multi-armed, half an hour to set up type deep hollowing rig and you're only going 8 inches deep, it's a bit silly.
Yeah, if you're going deeper too, you have to keep in mind the ratio between how much tool is over the tool rest and how much is behind it.
Yeah.
So if you're going deeper, you need a much longer handle coming back in order to balance it properly.
That's the beauty of this Steady Pro. It kind of balances it for you a little bit.
Well, it helps. You still have to do the work.
Yes. When I do the 13 and 14 inch deep holes that I do sometimes, then, as I said, I have to turn around the other way, stand by the doors, sometimes outside the doors, and I don't have a camera I can show you on really, but I basically end up with with a 4-foot long handle, which gives me a good foot to be inside the piece. Which is not quite right, because they reckon every inch in front, 4 inches behind, is it, Ruby?
That's what I was taught.
I got that wrong.
Between for every inch over, you want to be 4 to 6 inches behind.
Now to do that, I'd have to go and stand completely outside. So I have to compromise.
Is that rule of thumb just for tools without any mechanical aid? Or that's just a human doing the work?
No, that's pretty standard even for using mechanical aid, because it's on a leverage system.
I know what you mean, yeah.
It's basically just physics, you know. It's like a fulcrum and a lever. The more you're going over your point of control, you gotta have twice as much behind you to hold it.
Now, one thing
I
I
can't get
like,
it working quite the way I wanted, but let's go to that view a sec. If you look at what's coming out of the end of this, when I'm using the Simon Hope 6mm cutter, it is shavings, but they're tiny. So they clear out very easily. So if you're doing a small opening job, then those small shavings are very useful. Now I've got this set to a fairly fine cut, but even so, I can get this working.
now this is an end grain piece, correct, Pete?
Yes, this is end grain. Throw them out.
Lewis has said that on the Easy Wood Pro hollowing tool, it has a stop here line at 8 inches on a 32-inch long tool. So that would fit in with the 1-to-4 ratio.
I can't get it through the shavings out, but that's the shaving that's coming off of this tool set fine. If I set it to coarse, then they'd be about 6 inches long, about a quarter of an inch across, and they jam up inside small pieces.
How
Maybe
dry
I can
is
get that
this
to work.
piece?
This is quite a dry piece. It's because I'm painting it, I've gone for a drier piece.
Yeah.
But probably drier than I would normally hollow like this.
Yeah, when I'm making like enclosed hollow forms with a tiny little opening, I have to vacuum them out. It's just,
Yeah.
it really is. It's a pain. And if you use the Simon Hope 6mm cutter, that really does remove a lot of wood for the size of the cutter.
It's crazy effective.
You have to. Well, I treated myself to a laser, because when you're enclosed and you're hollowing, you have no idea. You can try and get calipers in there, but sometimes you can't. And that laser it's just the business. It really is.
Yeah, it does make a major difference.
You know, especially I
But
was
there-
gonna get into more piercing, and if you make an enclosed piece and you want those walls to be like 2mm or thereabouts to pierce it, there's just no way of telling. It's almost impossible.
There is a learning curve on that, though, Stephen. You have to learn, if the piece isn't straight like Pete's is right here, and it say bulges out in the center, You have
Yeah,
to learn where to set the laser on the cutter head
Yeah,
in
I
order to
mean,
get an accurate reading.
I learned that by making a big mistake. Because
this is a
if
good
you got
example of the shaving before you go on any further. Um, you can imagine if that's in a narrow opening, that can be quite a problem. They will just jam up, and once they compress, they can be a right nuisance to you.
The vacuum cleaner.
Lewis said it's like taking a bird's nest out of a soda bottle.
Yep.
Having said that, I do recommend this tool to be tried at least. I find that hollowing tools are very personal. What works for one person doesn't work at all for another. But this one suits me nicely.
Good.
Never be tempted to put your hand in there.
Malcolm says that camera system is even better than the laser system. He's probably talking about the camera system that Trent Bosch uses.
Yes,
And it does work very well as well.
I've used one. I've never turned sufficient quantity to make it worth buying one.
well, yeah, I've got the laser, and I was talking to a famous wood turner that will stay anonymous, and he said, I said, so what's the deal with the camera, Mr. Ed? And he said, well, once you've sold them something, you got to sell them something else. I you could probably get a camera off eBay and do something, but I mean, if you got a laser, I mean, why would you need a camera?
It came up on one of Wayne's recently. Somebody said, how do you know how thick your wall is down inside a vessel? And the answer was you kind of just get used to it.
That kind of works, but if you're going to pierce it, I mean, I was
Yeah,
watching Helen Bailey, right, and she will, I mean, she does like bowls basically. So her thickness, she will set with a set of calipers, and she'll work all the way down. But if it's enclosed, then you can't get a set of calipers in there, and the only way I've found of doing it is with the laser. I've never used the camera, so if somebody wants to,
I've used the camera, and I think the advantage of the camera is that if you're doing a piece that, say, has a bold side, where with the laser you have to be careful where you set the laser, with the camera you can see exactly where the tool is in relation to the shape of the vessel.
okay, yeah, I'm just reading the chat. Malcolm says, yeah, he's got the camera. I've never used one, but that does actually make sense because you can see it. With the laser, once it's set, if you're coming back up and up, say towards the neck, you've got to make sure that you've got to really think your way through it, because otherwise you'll end up with a bowl rather than enclosed hollow form.
That's true. Must be something about earworming for you, Pete. Every time I turn my computer on, I keep getting updates for every single thing I have on it.
that's because I only turn once in a blue moon, or live stream once in a blue moon.
Or
Because
when
I only do it
everyone
when
else
Terry's
is,
away, which isn't very often.
or when everyone else is on vacation.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. That's the one.
Pete,
Yep.
Ben's saying, Pete, I bought a bullet camera on Amazon for £15 and a 5-inch display for about 30. The benefit of the camera is that you know the bounds of the cutter.
Yes.
That makes sense, Ben.
Right now then, is Douglas on?
Lewis asks if the camera shows the shape, but does it help with showing thickness? Yes, it does, because you can see exactly the line when you're cutting.
This, of course, is Brian's vacuum cleaner. I don't own one.
I rent one from Mike Walt.
Okay, so I'm keeping that thick for a reason. And the reason is Joe.
Hands, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're not going to let Joe sing, are you?
I'm going to do this
Hey!
smallest bit ever, so she's going to have to sing a bit quick.
Douglas will be having a fit now.
My computer's just turned off.
Thanks.
Oh no, Joe, stop singing. It's turned back on again. Sorry, beg your pardon.
Stephen.
Oh, he's a bad man.
Oops. Careless Mr. Ravenscroft. Right, this is completely unnecessary, but I want a little bit of wood to be polished. And when I finish, it's just going to stay on the chuck. It's going to end up getting lacquered as well. So I'm not going to sand the inside, but make you watch me do that because that's boring. I'm just going to do this little lip.
Did she say what kind of paint she's going to use to paint it with?
She probably did, Ruby. She's my wife. I'm a man. I haven't got a clue what she said. And I think she's using acrylic.
You mean you didn't listen intently to every word she said?
Of course I did. She's probably watching now, so I'll probably be in trouble for that.
I'm so glad I'm single.
Mate.
Well, if you're like my husband, it goes in one ear and floats out the other.
Yep, that happens here a lot, I'm afraid. I try not to.
I mean, it doesn't even stay in there long enough to register. It just kind of floats about and then disappears again.
I try not to, but
Sometimes my aim isn't very good, and I think it doesn't get in the ear.
that could be it.
Doesn't even get in there.
No, when it's something I have very little knowledge about, I do tend to be a little bit deaf to things.
Yes, Lewis, I think quite often it doesn't even go in.
Chris is a bit confused. He thinks your sister's doing the painting now. It's not. It's Lisa, his wife,
No.
Pete's wife is doing the painting.
My sister's house, the window of her house that we stayed at last week.
Oh, my computer's just told me, do I want to shut down now? I don't know why.
Stephen?
Do you have it plugged in?
Yeah, apparently the AI just clicks in. As soon as the words Yorkshire Grit come up, it just mutes itself.
Ah.
Right, speed down.
What?
Because if you keep the speed up, all it does is throw the Yorkshire Grit straight in your face, which you don't really want.
No.
Although, it's good
Hands
for your
that
skin.
you pity can be soft as your face with light brown Yorkshire gritty. Ward Wilson from the west coast of Arizona has joined us.
Hi, Ward.
Hi, Ward.
There you go. That was the quickest Yorkshire Grit I sung.
I know.
Sing.
I just got out the fire extinguisher. There's some kind of smoke coming out the back of my computer.
What are you going to put on the inside, Pete?
I haven't fully decided that yet.
The rest of the Yorkshire
Normally,
Grit.
I would look at painting a dark colour. But
No, I was
sometimes I
thinking
use oil.
I was thinking in terms of a resin to coat the inside so that water could be used if it was going to be used as a vase.
It's going to be in Ibiza. You put anything in a vase in Ibiza, it's dead within the hour.
Yeah.
Roasted. And Lewis has said, is there a ridge on the outside or is it an illusion?
It's an illusion. I can see what you mean. I think it's actually the shadow of the pencil line that I put on there to start with. But,
A lot of times, if I'm making vases, I'll turn the first sort of inch or so of the vase nice, and then I'll drill it out. I use PVC pipe, and I seal the bottom, so there's like a little container that you can take in and out. You make them out of plumbing pipes, and just get a forcing a bit the same size, drill straight through it, and then that can sit in there, and you can have your dried flowers, or you can have fresh flowers.
That's a good idea, Stephen.
That's a good idea.
You get your pipe, and then whatever the diameter is, cut a piece off, cut it, and get a hot air gun and make a piece flat that fits in the bottom. Bit of CA glue in there, or pipe melting glue, and then a tiny little bit of fishing line so you can actually pull it in and out, and then you can wash them up. So you got a vase, and it looks like a nice vase, but on the inside you can actually use it for flowers.
A plastic container.
sounds like an excellent plan.
Because I make a lot of vases because I sell a lot of stuff to women who want to have, and the first thing they always say is, can I put flowers in it? And then you think, well, yeah, you could use resin or some kind of insert, but PVC pipe, it's cheap, you can get it anywhere, it's really malleable, you can make a nice little base out of the same pipe, just like I said, cut it, heat it up, get it flat, put it in the bottom, and either super glue it or use the pipe glue, and then you can take it in and out with a little bit of fishing line, and you got a fresh flower vase for a few pence.
Now, if they're very small ones, I just use test tubes.
Yeah, I mean, if you got test tubes, but I've got plastic pipe. I'm a skip diver. I don't know what the equivalent is in dumpster diving in Canada. So if
There is a problem. The problem with using test tubes is you've got to allow for the wood to move around it because they break very easily.
Yeah, that's why I like the plastic, because it's pretty hardy stuff. And like I said, if you got a 2-inch or 50 mil PVC pipe, like a regular white plumbing pipe, put it on the lathe, spin it with 600 grit, and then put some Yorkshire grit microfine on it, and it comes out really shiny with no letters and saying PVC plumbing pipe.
That's a good idea.
And it's cheap.
Cheap as chips.
This?
Oh, if you want money saving tips, I'm your man. Believe me, I'm tight.
You sure there's no Scots in you?
Well, as tight as Brian.
Well, I mean, I think I had my DNA checked, and I was part Womble. I don't know if people have watched the Wombles. If you ever look,
I remember the Wombles.
Well, yeah, right. They used to go around Wimbledon Common and pick up all the trash and make wonderful stuff out of it. And you think, yeah, I must be part Womble.
Or mad in the head, one of the two.
Well, yeah, that.
Ash says he uses plastic test tubes from Amazon, and they work well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
that would be a good plan.
All right.
I went to a demo once where this guy was making outdoor tea light holders by cutting wine bottles up, making a wooden block and drilling air holes in it and sticking a wine bottle over the top to make a tea light holder. And I like that. So I spent £8 or £10 on a glass bottle cutter. I think I made one. But you can find some nice jars, which if you just cut off just below the thread for the lid, are absolutely perfect for vase inserts. But you do have to remember to give some room for wood movement. I'm using an inertia sander on this. I know it's a bowl device really in intention. I'm using it with the 3-inch discs rather than the 2-inch. I find it spindle.
You were glad to know I found mine, Pete.
Yeah,
This
Brian
one,
found one
it did
yesterday
have a
which he
3-inch.
purchased years ago and forgot. Buried amongst all the other tools he's got.
Oh,
Because he's got so many tools. Michelle's not on, is she?
How
Yeah.
fine?
she might be. Yep.
How fine are
Okay.
you going to sand this to?
That was 600 I just put on there now.
Okay.
But I forgot something. I should have made a bit more space down here. Use that one.
Lewis says he made his son's wedding band from copper pipe as the insert, and it was way out.
Yeah, that's an original idea, isn't it?
Stephen, Chris Dodd says he thought you looked familiar. His kids watched you on TV when they were young.
Yeah, me and the Wombles. We're saving the planet.
More like Great Uncle Bulgaria.
I mean, there was one that was on the Orinoco. I remember that one, and there was a woman as well. I can't remember what her name was. And I'll tell you something. I've looked all over Wimbledon Common, and they've moved.
They've left, have they? Oh,
Yeah, they made a lot of money, and they're in somewhere in the hills outside Los Angeles now.
yeah, Beverly.
Yeah.
That's the Clampets you're thinking about.
Okay, so what I've done here is I've just cut myself a little bit of space. I haven't passed it off because I don't want to pass it off until I finish lacquering it. But it just allows me to get in right to the bottom. If I don't throw this sandpaper on the floor.
You have to hold on to it.
Don't throw it on the
Yeah.
floor, you'll never find it again.
It allows me to get right into the very bottom of that corner. So that when I paint it, it's right to the bottom. So that's 240, 400 and 600 I'm going to do on this.
So you're going to post for us a picture of what it looks like finished?
Yep. However, that will be under Lisa's time scale, so I don't know when.
I shouldn't think it'll take her very long.
She's a busy lady, is Lisa. So she runs her own business and she works silly hours.
She does.
It's all right for us pensioners that can play when we want to.
When I
Now-
grow up, I'm going to get a pension.
Well, I might get half of one. Now, two lady wombles, Alderney and Madame Choulet.
Madame
Madame-
Cholet.
That's the one I was thinking of, Madame Choulet. I don't know what a French lady was doing in Wimbledon Common, but well, we'll let it go.
She was keeping Uncle Bulgaria company.
Maybe
Obviously.
so.
Wow.
Well, she did most of
multi-ethnic
the
womble.
cooking. So they'd have starved otherwise, wouldn't they?
That's true, yeah. Can't have starving wombles all over Wimbledon Common.
No.
I expect the people from the rest of the world that are watching this thing, what are they on about?
Yeah, right. There's people think, what are they talking about? I thought this was something to do with woodworking or something.
Okay, that's solo sanding sealer, so it won't take long to dry. It's diluted about 50-50. My usual preferred. I'm just going to turn the lathe on slow and let that air dry a little bit.
We won't even start talking about the clangers.
Yeah, no, let's not go there.
Going back to Roger Kent's question, Joe, who will sing at the AAW if you're not there? Ask Glyn, because he's quite a nice singer.
Anybody that wants this, Joe, because I'm not going.
No,
No,
I'll,
I'm
be,
not going
I'll,
either.
I'll be going. I'm going, so I'll keep an eye on Glyn for you.
will you?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I heard he tears it up when he's not with you.
yeah.
No,
Don't
it's the other way around. It's Joe that tears it up.
Oh, is
Ah.
it? Oh.
Okay, so here we go.
So it smacked a bit like the blind leading the blind there, anyway. Steve is going to go and look after Glenn. Yeah, right.
Now, is this an acrylic paint that you're spraying on?
Yes, it is.
Plastic coat.
Plastic coat acrylic.
Yeah.
Vintage white.
Does vintage white mean that the can is like past its sell-by date?
Yeah.
Oh.
How long will that take to dry?
I have no idea. I don't do painting.
Okay.
However,
It dries pretty quick.
Yeah, if it's acrylic, it should dry fairly quick.
Well, when
I
I
think
paint
you
with
can,
acrylics on paper, that dries pretty quick.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
but
to see that. I'm glad to see that Pete's put masking tape all around his chuck so he didn't get paint on it.
well, I would if it was an SK114, but you know the old
That's so true. I've got two SK114s and they're constantly covered in masking tape and they're cleaned. And my old Vic Mark is just multicolored.
You know what I
Why
normally
is it?
use if I'm doing a
I
lot of
thought-
painting is I put some
I
cling
thought,
film around
thought
it.
I thought them SK114s were stainless steel.
They are,
Yeah.
but they are.
Yeah.
They're so
See.
beautiful and they look so handsome, especially with the O'Donnell jaws on them, that you don't want to get paint on them.
Right, I'm going to bring the guys back in a sec.
Don't do that.
So basically, this is part one of the project. Part two is it gets the artwork done on it. I'm going to get another coat of white before I do that anyway. But and then part three, it'll be back on the lathe and get lacquered before it gets carted
will
off.
we see the finished product?
When the product's finished, I will post it on Facebook and I will bring it in when I'm here with somebody. Because obviously, I won't now be doing another live until September
Until next Monday.
or next Monday, whichever comes first.
Depending on who's on vacation.
Yeah. Yeah, I might be on next Monday. Terry is back, but he's possibly a little bit busy to get one sorted for Monday, so I might cover Monday. Thanks for watching, guys. Please
It
remember
it was a great program. Thank you.
Excellent job, Pete.
to hit the
that's
thumbs
good.
up if you wouldn't mind. If you don't
I'll
want
do that.
the thumbs
do
up,
that now.
don't forget Virtual Crafty is on this weekend. That's starts on Jamie's page.
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock, that's right. 10 o'clock Saturday morning in UK time.
That's British summertime.
And everybody that's on there has got a list of everybody else that's on there, so you've got all the times from there.
Correct.
Okay.
Thanks very much to my earworms.
You're welcome.
It's really good to have somebody do the chatting when you're doing hollowing in particular, because you can't get a good camera angle on it. It's not the most riveting thing to watch a tool going in and out and nothing happening.
I
And
think
the
there
world-
was some good knowledge shared amongst the group.
Yeah, especially about wombles.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, I did
want
try to
know is
show-
what was Brian's sanding, Pete? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you can hear it in the background.
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
I did
Just
try to show this
asking
tool
for a
off and how to
friend.
adjust it and set it, which as I said, if you're using the same size bar, you only got to do it once anyway. But it doesn't take long even if you are using different size tools. And that's it. Thanks very much. So it's bye
Thank
from
you,
Ruby.
Pete.
Thank you, Pete.
Nice one.
Bye from Ruby. Bye from Brian. Bye from
Bye
Steve.
from
Bye.
me.
Bye from Joe. And bye from me.
Bye.
Cheers, everyone.